this episode for us to watch for our
viewing pleasures.
Yes, for only our viewing pleasures. So, what we've laid out is a podcast predicated on the idea that we want to watch more movies and that we want to be more well versed. And, there's no better way of connecting with your past and perhaps with your future, considering that some movies are set in the future. You never know, like that. Just like
I like that. That's like usually that's mostly how I feel. I just want to watch more movies, and I feel like that'll just broaden my knowledge of just film in general, and that'd be cool because there's a lot of movies I haven't seen that are really good, or at least I've heard that are really good, and I would like to actually watch them. But this is like fun to do with that.
Yeah, it's a fun way for us to talk about it. And the idea of posting it is that somebody, I feel like it's like a reaction video, like where you watch people react to like an album or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just like, you're revisiting the emotions that you had when you first heard an album. And I don't know, that's what I feel like.
I like videos like that too, like reaction videos, or just,
they can be
like it's cool to see someone like react. Like there's a dude on YouTube who reacts with his dad.
I've seen him, the little
dude.
white kid.
Yeah, it's like a white dude and it's like dad. And he's just
I hear my dad Rockhampton.
Bro, it's just fun. Like some of the videos, like I didn't watch all. I would just like clips of it. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool to see, just the reaction of someone like appreciating any type of like music, like they don't like listen to usually.
Right.
It's cool to see.
I wish I would have done that with my dad. If I recorded my dad doing that, I would have made a lot of money. Showing so much music that he likes. But anyway, getting back on track a little bit. We got off tangent. So we set it up like this. We flipped a coin. Daniel won the toss. It was heads. I asked him if he wanted to pick the first week or if he wanted to pick the second week. Pick first or not pick first.
Yeah.
He did not want the responsibility, so he put it on me. So I picked a movie.
As usual.
Well, of course.
As usual.
And so I picked a movie that is universally seen, I feel like, as like a great movie. I've always heard about it, So so we just watched Taxi Driver, written by Paul Schrader, directed by Martin Scorsese. It stars Robert De Niro, and it has a cast that has a lot of names, really early in their career, late in their career, middle of their career. Nevertheless, Jodie Foster, Sybil Shepherd, Harvey Keitel, Peter Boyle, Leonard Harris, Albert Brooks. A lot of cool names. Jodie Foster was like very young in that movie and played a prostitute.
Very young in that movie.
And played a prostitute.
Very young in that movie.
Very questionable. Very 1975.
She was a great actress.
It was a different year.
Why was she young?
Sure, that was a little bit wild. Maybe not ready for that. That was maybe a culture shock for me. That's one that makes you go, oh, okay, this movie is almost 50 years old. Right. And you really feel it.
You really do feel it.
You really feel it. From the second the Columbia Pictures logo pops up, you really feel how old this movie is.
That's not fair.
But, yeah. I mean, what were your thoughts coming into this? Like, what did you heard about Taxi Driver?
So, I mean, before actually making this a thing, I'd always heard Taxi Driver just from people that have seen good movies. I guess like you like had mentioned it. Like obviously you haven't seen it, but you had mentioned it. I'd heard like friends like Xavier seen it. And, like he had said something about it one time, like a long time ago. I just heard it, like Taxi Drivers, like that's just like a good movie. So 11, like I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know Robert De Niro was in it at all. De Niro. Oh, I was saying this earlier when we were outside, but like I don't know if I've ever seen anything with Robert De Niro in it, like before this.
Right.
Like personally, just I've probably just never seen anything with him in it, and so I've heard also about him that he's like a good actor. So I'm like, okay, and he was really good in this, honestly. Like, he was fairly young, like obviously. Like, you know how old he was? Because I don't. I was just asking.
Look it up right here. How old? I should.
I'm gonna guess like 32, 33 or some shit. Like but he was really good in that. He was really good in it. I would love to see something else. Like after seeing that.
You're almost dead on. De Niro was 31 when filming the movie and turned 32 while filming. You said 32 or 33, right?
I said 33.
Damn. And Jodie Foster was 12 years old filming this movie. What? I did read that she had to go to a psychiatrist.
She was 12?
In California before this movie was filmed to make sure she wouldn't pick up trauma for having watched this movie. I mean, for the unseen, you might understand why they do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I want to do...
Okay. I just like, what? That's insane.
12 years old. Yeah. Okay. So, what I want to do now, I have ripped a plot summary from Wikipedia, which I don't feel like is
like you got it from Wikipedia?
Unfair. Yeah, I don't think that's unfair.
No, it's not.
I was trying to do it by myself, and I found myself...
Did you only get one from Wiki? Or like a couple?
No, I only have this. It's a plot summary.
So okay, I'm just
going through a basic summary of the plot.
Right.
And I was trying to do it by myself, and I found myself like way too much detail. Like way too I was
like you were doing too much.
I was paused at 20 minutes, and I had as much written as I had in this full plot summary that I pulled off of Wikipedia. Yeah, it was bad. So I was like, I was like,
let me stop.
I was like, I'm just gonna look for one afterwards.
I might be wilding right now.
I'm going a little overboard right now.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was doing a lot.
So you deleted a lot.
I deleted a whole lot.
That's fair though. I mean, like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, but it's just like, damn.
And it was all in like the way that I talked too, though.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was really bad. It was really hard to read. But anyway, I'm just gonna read this.
It was really hard to read.
Okay, Travis Bickle, a 26-year-old honorably discharged U.S. Marine and Vietnam War veteran suffering from PTSD and living alone in New York City. Travis takes his job as a night shift taxi driver to cope with his chronic insomnia and loneliness. He frequently goes to the porn theaters on 42nd Street and keeps a diary in which he consciously attempts to include aphorisms such as, quote, "You're only as healthy as you feel," unquote. He becomes disgusted with the crime and urban decay that he witnesses in Manhattan and dreams about ridding, quote, "the scum off the streets," unquote. Travis becomes infatuated with Betsy, a campaign volunteer for Senator and presidential candidate Charles Palantine. Travis enters the campaign office where she works and asks her out for coffee, to which she agrees. Betsy confesses that she feels a special connection to Travis and agrees to go on another date with him. During their date, Travis takes Betsy to a porn theater, which repulses her and causes her to leave. He attempts to reconcile with her, to no avail. Enraged, he storms into the campaign office where she works and berates her before he is ordered to leave. Experiencing an existential crisis and seeing various counts of prostitution throughout the city, Travis confides in fellow taxi driver named Wizard about his violent thoughts. However, Wizard dismisses them and assures him that he will be fine. In an attempt to find an outlet for his rage, Travis begins a program of intense physical training. A fellow taxi driver refers him to a black market gun dealer, Easy Andy, and from from whom Travis buys 4 handguns. At home, Travis practices drawing his weapon and modifies one to allow him to hide and quickly deploy it from his sleeve. He also begins attending Palatine's rallies to scope out their security. One night, Travis shoots and kills a man attempting to rob a convenience store run by a friend of his. On his trips about the city, Travis regularly encounters Iris, a child prostitute whom he fantasizes about saving. Travis solicits her and tries to persuade her to stop prostituting herself, and soon after, Travis cuts his hair into a mohawk and attends a public rally where it seems clear he plans to assassinate Palatine. However, he is chased away by Secret Service agents who see him unzipping his jacket and putting his hand inside his jacket. That evening, Travis Jesus Christ. Can I read is the question. That evening, Travis drives to the brothel where Iris works and shoots her pimp, Sport. He enters the building and engages in a shootout with Sport and one of Iris's clients, a mafioso. Travis is shot several times but manages to kill the 2 men. He then brawls with the bouncer, whom he manages to stab through the hand with his knife located in his shoe and finishes off with a gunshot to the head. Travis attempts to commit suicide but is out of bullets. Bloody and injured, he slumps on a couch next to a sobbing Iris. As police respond to the scene, a delirious Travis imitates shooting himself in the head using his finger. Travis goes into a coma due to his injuries. He's heralded by the press as a heroic vigilante and is not prosecuted for the murders. Also receiving a letter from Iris's father thanking him. After recovering, Travis returns to work where he encounters Betsy as a fare. They interact cordially, with Betsy saying she followed his story in the newspaper. Travis drops her at home and he declines to take her money, driving off with a smile, and he suddenly becomes agitated after noticing something in his rearview mirror. That is Taxi Driver, and yeah, what were your initial thoughts after watching this movie?
Bro, my initial thoughts after watching the movie, immediately when it was over, I always just have a rapid thought of okay, how did I feel about that? Did I like it? Did I not like it? I'm like, oh, I like that. I like the movie. It's just when it ended, and then I'm like, oh, I can see why people say this is a really good movie. I was like, oh, it was really good. I liked this first note I fucking put, bro. Dude. Okay, so I just want to say, just saying it. When I started my review, I put in parentheses, I want to add that I was drunk when making this. And then I started my review. So, the first one I put, bro, when it started, the movie, there was it went through not the credits, but it was doing the lights or whatever, and then it zoomed on his eyes for the first 15 seconds of it. That shit was dope. I really liked that. So I liked it enough to where I put it in here, and I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I want to see who the cinematographer was on this movie. Because the cinematography was really good. Another cool thing that I noticed, just piggybacking off of that, about the cinematography a little bit, was I really liked when he was driving around, how it was not focused on him driving around. It was him, because he had said that monologue where he was just he basically said 20 slurs, and he was just I'm gonna wipe them all off the street, or I hope a real wave wipes them off the street, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just I thought it was really cool to see when he was driving around, to have it where all you see is all these people that he's talking about, and you get the idea that the camera is his eyes and him just looking side to side at the
seeing everything.
with that score too, with the songs under, with the music.
And while that's happening for me, I love like hearing like the background of it, like just like like the beeping and the people. Yeah, I like all that was awesome. It was really well done.
Yeah, it really put you in the
especially for the '70s. Like wow.
Yeah, they really put you in the thing. I wrote this down. It had a $1.9 million budget, which I don't I don't know how that accounts for inflation.
Yeah.
And I guess while we're on the subject of the $1.9 million budget, the cast made $200,000 collectively. De Niro and Sybil Shepherd both made $35,000 for the movie. Scorsese made $65,000 for the movie. So that makes, what is that? That's what, $135,000 just for De Niro, Shepherd, and Scorsese. So that means that the rest of the cast made a collective 65,000. Yeah, $65,000.
That's not shit.
Yeah, for the rest of the cast. They only like a good.
Bro, there was there was also a scene where at the beginning like you have to remind me, but like where he went into like some type of office. What office was it that he went into? Like he was trying to get his ID or something. Like the beginning, remember? Like
at the very beginning, like when he was like
he was like
for the job.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I forgot.
Yeah.
He had said something that I thought was funny. Like the woman was asking him like she had said something about like where he would want to work, and I gotta look at shit. That's what I fucking think. But she was like asking him like about how he felt about working there. And she was like your driving record, and he said clean, real clean, like my conscience. I thought I was like damn.
Yeah, and then he like shunned it away or like shoot it away.
Yeah,
like a nervous laugh.
Yeah, I thought that was I like that. I like that too. I like that scene right there. I think that was. Yeah.
I like the subtle mention of him saying like, "Oh, you can't sleep. You should go to the porn theaters." And he goes, "You don't think I haven't tried that?" And then like the 2 scenes later, he's like in a porn theater, and you're like, "Oh, this is a theme of the movie." I get it. I get it now. This guy's a thing.
Fucking porn theater, yo.
And I just want to comment on one thing about when he was in that porn theater.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to pick up that girl, and she's basically like giving him nothing. She's trying to pick up the chick, and then he's just like, I can like really no, like what's your name? And she's just like, I can call the manager. And he's like, why are you gonna do that? No, I just want to know your name. And she's just like, Tom.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I wrote this down. He buys like 5 candy bars, like a small popcorn, and an RC Cola. I mean, like, albeit it's a small RC Cola, but like, she goes $185. I'm like, whoa.
What? I don't remember that. But damn, what the hell?
When you buy stuff at the theater now, it's like $185, as in like $185. When you try to buy that. 5 candy bars, a small popcorn, and a soda. How much would that cost now? $6 for the damn drink at least.
A crazy amount.
A small popcorn.
I don't even.
Be at least like.
It's like enough to make you not even want it.
Yeah. You're just like, this is
just like fuck that.
I'm good. And it's not even hot. Like the popcorn's never hot. Anyway,
Anyway.
Good.
Bro, there was some shit I wrote, not gonna lie, where I'm like, damn, I don't even remember like when that happened. Like, because I took notes from the beginning, and then I was like, okay, so I put asking the register girl for her name that we just talked about, and I was like, oh, he was kind of macking, but like she was like, fuck off, but he was like, like his responses were like really like, okay, weren't bad, and then I said, at some point the banter between I said this dude's haircut is awful. There was a point in that movie, I can't remember whose haircut it was. It wasn't his, like the main character. It wasn't Robert De Niro. There was some point at the beginning. I can't remember when it was, but like his haircut was like really bad. And like now I wish I could remember, but I can't. But Dude, oh, bro, I did not love, but like, I like with their group of like taxi friends.
Yeah.
Like, there's the one black guy. Like, I relate to the one black guy.
Oh,
Like, he's just there. And he's like, I like how there was one scene where like he walks in, and like they're all sitting like in a little diner eating, and then like the black dude's sitting there like reading his newspaper.
Yeah.
And he walks in, he's just like, you got that $5 you owe me? And he's just like, he just takes it out, you know what I mean? He just hands him the $5. He's like, he just keeps reading his newspaper. I'm like, hey.
Honest, man.
Like, yeah, exactly, right? I like that. I like that scene. Just to, like, get that $5 like, hand it to him. They just start talking. Like, that's dope, you know?
Kind of honest, I guess. I don't.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
with his friends at least.
To a degree, yeah. To the people that matter, right?
Right. You got it.
Anyway.
Alright.
I really liked. Picking up off of that in that same scene. When he starts talking, I don't know if it's Wizard. I read that in the synopsis. But he's talking to that one guy, that one driver, and he's like, the driver's like, "Hey, you drive everywhere, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, you keep peace on you?" And he's like,
"No, I need to.
I don't need to. I'm fine." And then he's just like, I don't know about that. Are you sure about that? And he's just like, starts seeding doubt in this guy's head. I mean, like, this guy took his first date to a fucking porn theater. So, I mean, like, he obviously does not have, like... And you can obviously tell he's lonely. I mean, so he doesn't have great social skills. So, I mean, like, anybody who speaks convincingly, I mean, I imagine can steer this guy wherever he wants to go, you know? He can steer him, like, wherever. And so he starts, like, seeding, like, paranoia in this dude's head of, like, you know, what could happen. And I really enjoyed, I felt like there was a visual metaphor. When he sits down, he pops an Alka-Seltzer in his water, and you can see in all the bubbles, it's bubbling up. It's bubbling, and I felt like, in my opinion, when I was watching that, I felt like that was like representative of like his emotions, of like those, and like back to what you said about like, oh, my clear conscience thing of like, it's not, and
it's
like,
not at all.
He started really seeding that parent. Somebody else started putting those like doubts in his head. It's not just him.
Yeah,
like,
just started thinking about it.
Because there's a point where he can just like shun those like self-doubts away. You know, it's like, oh, that's just my head. But when someone else is coming at him and is like, what could happen? Anything could happen. You gotta protect yourself. All those dark thoughts are bubbling up to the surface.
You definitely start to believe it.
And it's like, you know. And then when he sees all the guns, he's like, I want all of them. And he buys all of them.
Bro, that Alka-Seltzer, like, that scene was really good to me, too, just because, like, him, like, putting it in there and, like, bubbles up, like you said, and, like, he's just blank.
Yeah.
And then, like, it comes back, and they're, like he's just staring. Like, bro.
I do have this written down. I said Travis is an incel. Yeah, I feel like
Travis is an incel.
Robert De Niro is an incel in that movie.
Holy shit.
Way before. I mean, I guess not before its conception. It's always been a thing, but yeah, he's a downright incel in the movie. It is undeniable.
It definitely is. It definitely isn't.
Did you notice that scene with Robert De Niro and Jodie Foster? They're in the diner. She's wearing glasses. She takes them off, and then she puts a different pair of glasses on, and then takes them off during the dinner. It's like, what? That has to me be like where they filmed two different things, and they were like, okay, well, this is gonna be the start, or we're gonna film a different version where this is the start of the scene. And I just feel like once they got into the editing room, they realized they couldn't edit it together
And they just like
clean.
went with it.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't really notice it because it's like a small thing, but yeah, that made me laugh really hard. I was like, what?
Yeah, I like that one too.
I literally wrote down, Iris really likes clowns.
Bro, that's a good one. There was another scene where like I was like then we're like at the beginning, it was a long movie. There's where he picks up the dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like obviously he's like stalking his wife because she's cheating on him or whatever.
Oh, that was creepy. That was Martin Scorsese.
The dude?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was him.
Wow. Well, I wrote something about that scene. I'm kind of like just all over the place, but he's like talking to him. He's like talking to what is it? Travis. He's talking to Travis, and he's like sitting there. He's like, I'll pay you. Just like keep the timer thing, keep it going or whatever. And he's like, you see the window? He's like trying to find the window. I like that scene too. He's like scanning. He's like, oh, you see it. He's like, now you see it. I like that. Then he's like, he's like talking to him, and he's like, oh, like you know who lives up there? He's like, a nigga lives up there. Bro, I laughed when that shit happened. I laughed. I was like, damn. Like, cause he was pissed. Like, you could tell he's like, oh my god.
I'm gonna go kill her.
He was like, he's like, I'm sick, don't you? When he says that, he just kept asking me, he's like, I'm sick. I think I'm sick. Cause he's like, he's gonna go kill his fucking wife. And it's like, that scene, I was like, yo, I feel you, bro. Like, whether the dude was black or white, I'm like, yo, I wanna go kill her right now. Not like you actually would do it. I'm just saying, like, I understood. I'm just saying, I understood.
We're gonna cancel before we get going.
So, I understood his anger in that moment. Like, you know what I mean? I understood his anger in the moment.
Yeah. No, I get you. I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
No, yeah.
Just like, I like that scene because he, like, projected that well. He was like, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go kill him. And he's like talking, he's like, you think I'm sick, don't you? You think I'm sick? Like, kept asking him, he just wasn't answering. He's like, I'm sick, don't you? It's like, damn.
I have not watched a lot of Scorsese's like early movies. I mean, this is probably the earliest one. I've seen Raging Bull. I was telling you that earlier. I saw Raging Bull. This is the earliest work of his. I don't know how many of his movies that he's in. I know it is like he got older because I've seen like Shutter Island. I can't name anything off the top of my head. But like I've seen some of his older movies. And not older. I should say newer movies. I've seen some of his newer movies.
No way.
And like it's just a dude on his phone, just like you. Whoa. I'm joking. No, I've seen some of his newer movies. And he's not in his movies, so like. I was really surprised at how good his performance was in the movie.
Like he's not in a lot of his movies that he does?
Not now.
Not anymore? He used to be.
He used to be in them a lot, but he's not in them anymore. So, it's interesting.
Is that like, it's just a question. Is that like big-headed? Like you putting yourself in a lot of your movies?
There's sometimes where like an actor, you see a bunch of actors like read and you just feel like they can't do it, or like they aren't giving you exactly what you want. You're like, well, fucking, I can do it. And then when you put into perspective like how little money they had and they only had $200,000 for cast, and the only other thing is going and grabbing somebody off the streets, which it works. The Safdie brothers do that. The people who made Uncut Gems and in those movies.
Who the fuck made Euphoria? Just grab that.
I think she made through an audition though. But I'm just saying, like Safdie brothers, like there's a scene in their movie High Life. With Robert Pattinson, the UPS driver in the movie is the UPS driver that delivers to their office. They asked him, "Do you want to be in our movie?" And they put him in the movie. And that's the dude that's in the movie. He didn't get paid. He didn't ask to get paid. Cool. He just wanted to be in a movie. So I mean, I guarantee he watches that movie with his kids, and he's like, "Look,
That's
this is
me.
my scene. This is my scene."
Dude.
There's a bunch of people that do that. They started with like, anyway, I'm not gonna get into that either. They were heavily influenced by Scorsese, and I'm pretty sure Scorsese produced Uncut Gems. Full circle. There you go.
Bro, you remember this fucking Organize? So stupid. I fucking wrote that because I thought that was funny. And like he was walking at one point, and it's like on a sign in front of him.
What was that? What was that scene?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was walking somewhere, and like the sign in front. I can't remember where he was walking to though. Like he was in a building, obviously, and like the poster was like wherever he was walking. I can't remember, but like it was in front of him, and it said it. It was like organized, and it was like going to the side. I can't remember what the scene was though, but I remember it being like on the wall, and like the word itself was like it was like going out, and then it came down, like the letters went down.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I really.
For some reason.
I didn't remember some of the stuff you said. I mean, I kind of just like I was like, holy shit. I was like, you're only as healthy as you feel. I like that.
The gun seller dude was like when he wrapped it up and he was just like, so you want weed, dope, coke, poppers, powders?
He was a man of all trades in a suit. Yeah. Like that's the way to do it, man. He was in a suit.
It's like no. Methamphetamine, heroin, like brother, you have everything.
Like he literally was the man for it all.
He was like the universal plug.
It's a universal plug.
Like the absolute universal plug. Look, I got guns, drugs,
like all types of shit. Alcohol. Yeah, I like that scene too. He was like, "That's a good gun." I like when he was just like testing him as a dude's talking to him, telling him he's like pointing out the window.
I like how they establish his loneliness by like showing how obsessed he becomes with the guns.
I like that too.
Like there's a lot to do in this 2 hours where there's subtle stuff where it really builds his character in like there's a way to build a character in a positive, not a positive way, in like in a way that's like a gray area, but also have it feel like, also have it feel like the character is progressing, because a lot of people, for whatever reason nowadays, they feel like you can only progress a character by having them do positive things. Like, the only way to progress a character is to have them do negative things, realize that what they're doing is negative, and then do positive things. And like, they realize they're a bad person, so now they're a good person. It's just not realistic. Like, some people don't end up that way. And, like, this guy is one of those people. It's just, like, he's not meant to end up like a good person. Like, it's
like, it sucks, but, like, he like, really isn't. It's just not.
It's, like, some life isn't for a lot of people, and he lives in a big city, and he still finds a way to be lonely. I mean, aside from his friends, who, I mean, like, he tries to open up to, but, I mean, they're the same as him. They're just cold and hard on the inside, and they've been in it for longer than him, too. And, like, most of the guys he hangs out with, they're, like, in their 40s, 50s, and have been cabined for 20 years. I mean...
And it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
When you see it. Bro, like, to piggyback off of that, there was a point where, like, I'm watching... And, like, I would go back a little bit to the beginning just because, like, this one scene I remember. Well, like, there was one point where I felt bad for him because, like, the date they went on, like, took to a point here, that's wild, whatever. Like, that goes bad. And then he, like, starts, like, obsessing over her. Yeah. And then, like, when he shows up at her job, and, like, at that point, I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, I felt bad, but I was also like, damn, he's wilding. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I felt bad for him. I was like, oh, man. Like, I get it, bro. Like, you can't do, you know what I mean? Like, I'm watching a movie, I'm like, you can't do that. And there's people that do that. Like,
he did the like, textbook slick dude shit of, like, hey, I saw how that dude was talking to you. I just want to let you know, I don't think that dude's cool. at all. Like he's kind
I just
of a
want to
nerd.
let you know.
Like he's kind of a nerd.
I don't fuck with that.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a nerd. I think you see that too, right? He's like a nerd, right?
He's like a nerd.
It's like
he's a fucking he's lame. He's lame.
He's a weirdo. He's lame. Yeah, I don't like him.
He's a fucking lame.
That was so funny to me. I was like, why is he trashing dude on the first date? Like, just focus on yourself, man.
Yeah, like, you get it together, bro.
Like, you don't need to worry about this other guy's riz. Like, just worry about what you're doing.
This other dude.
Oh, God. Alrighty. So I wrote down some themes. I'm just gonna run through these. I looked up common themes because I have not been in an English class in a good while, and so I'm just gonna run through these common themes that I wrote down that I noticed. Obviously, loneliness. I wrote down envy. It seems like he is really envious of like other people and like how they're able to go through life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because there's all these other people that are like, you know, living their lives and doing what they want to do, what they have to. I mean, and you know, Iris is like a prime example of that. I mean, she feels like she's doing what she wants to do, and like,
yeah,
and he's just like, he envies the idea of taking her out of that situation, which is not what she wants.
She doesn't want it at all, bro. Also, the scene, like, I'm gonna bring it up just because I just think I'm thinking of anything, but like the scene where like, bro, she's like in there, like he pays for her or whatever,
yeah,
and like they go upstairs and like he's like trying to talk to her,
right,
and like she's just like, after what she came for as far as like why she's getting paid to be there,
yeah,
and he's like not fucking with that, and she's like, okay, she's not fucking with him doing that, and then I like the end of it where like.
You like the end of it where, sorry.
What is that?
Train.
I like the end of it where he was like talking to her, and like they're talking about like where to meet at or whatever.
Yeah.
And like she's like, "Okay, are you doing it or not?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Yeah.
Just like in the beginning where like Betsy, he's like they're talking to her and he's like trying to get her to go out, and she's like, "What time?" He's like, "What time you get off?" And I think she said 4 or 5. He's like, "I'll be here." And well, he was there waiting. Like at the beginning, it was good. It was nice, and like he was there.
It's funny you say that. It leads me right into the next one. Desperation. This dude's desperate as fuck, and it's obvious. Yeah. It's so on display, and it also kind of relates to one of my last notes. I have a few actually. I think the fragility of the human mind is on full display in this movie, and it is also on display how quickly it can take a person to go down the wrong path. Like, it really takes 1, 2, 3 bad things happening in a short span of time, and it sends this person down this spiral path of like this guy. I mean, he's like literally planning to kill a fucking senator that's running for president. Yeah. I mean, like, and you know, to just say, the guy who tried to kill Ronald Reagan in 1981 said he was heavily influenced by this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he was heavily influenced by the Palatine stuff with Robert De Niro. Wow. Almost killed Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, those scenes too, like him in the room, like just practicing, and he's like in the posters in the back. Bro, there was a scene that I put here too. I said arm veins on 100. He's like just like bro. At one point he was flexing his arm like that. His fucking arm looked like a goddamn robot's arm, bro. Like he was like ripped. I was like, holy shit.
We got to see
his arm looked crazy.
The iconic "Do you feel lucky?" Well, do you, punk?
What do you, punk? Bro,
that was fun. I also I listened to, I do not know the song, but there is a song that ends in the monologue where he's talking about like all the people that he sees in the street. Sick, venal. One day a real wave's gonna wipe all the real scum off the street. Like, there's a song I listened to. I've heard that monologue like hundreds of times. So when it started, I was like, what? Yeah, that is some very 2022 stuff for you. That's very Gen Z of me. I'm gonna go into the next theme, morality. Gray. Super gray. I mean, like, from scene to scene, you don't know how you feel about Travis. And you'd, like, it really takes you through, like, an emotional journey of, like, do I choose to sympathize with this guy, or is he really putting this on himself, mostly? Like, is he responsible for what's going on?
It's a constant battle for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I felt the same way, like, watching it, like, kind of how I was, like, hitting on earlier, where I'm like, I felt bad for him, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, I can't side with that.
I guess.
And then as it, like, progresses, what are you saying? Go.
This goes with another one I put down, man versus self. So I mean, that's
good.
So I mean,
as it progresses, I'm like, he just got worse. Like, it became more and more where I'm like, and then I'm like. There was a scene. He was like, he's like getting more and more, not more and more, but when he was progressing towards like, okay, he's kind of getting crazy. He like came up to like the dude like trying to find Iris or whatever at the door, and like the dude's telling him, consider like leave me alone. He's like, all right, man, get out of here. Like it was a whole scene of him just like fuck off. Like he didn't want any. She's like, I don't want any trouble. Like he told me he didn't want any trouble. And then he fucking shoots him in his fucking stomach, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Dude, I was like, damn, like I'm pretty sure that was the first person he killed. Like since the movie started, that was the first person he like ended.
Yeah, that was Harvey Keitel's character.
Because it was just funny because he kept saying like, leave me alone. Like at first he was like, I don't want any trouble, man. Like leave, like walk away, and he just wouldn't do it, and he just fucking shoots him. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Because the thing is he told her name was something different. He didn't tell De Niro's character that her name was Iris. She went by a different. Her stripper name was something different.
She told him her real name. Remember?
Yeah, but after he asked, he was like, "What? No."
Oh yeah.
I know that's not your name.
Kept crying.
Like, what's your real name?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have sex with you. What's your real name? I'm trying to get you out of here. She was like, "Well, I hear you, but I'm not trying to get out of here."
That's not what I want to do. Yeah.
And then, his failed senator assassination, where he's reaching into his jacket, turning into him becoming a vigilante and like murdering, a mafioso, a doorman who works under like a human trafficker, and then a human trafficker pimp. That's like one of the oddest turns in the movie.
It is.
For me. It was, but the thing is like, the fact that they treated him as a hero afterwards is such a good irony for the rest of the story, because like, I don't know if it's necessarily irony, because like, well, it is. Because in the beginning, this is who he wanted to be. Like he wanted to get all these bad people off the streets. Well, some people would just be like, well, just be a cop then.
Yeah.
They didn't care that bad. But, he doesn't actually want to do anything. He's just talking shit.
Yeah.
But then, like, as he goes along, he becomes that scum that he's talking about. He's trying to kill a politician. He's plotting to assassinate a politician. Bro. And talking about all these scum on the streets and whatnot.
Do you remember the scene where he fucking, like, when he's there, I don't know, it's not, was it when he was trying to kill him? Where he was, like, talking to the Secret Service dude? Yeah. Was that the same time frame? Or did that happen later when he tried to kill him? That happened later, right?
Yeah, he talked to the
Secret Service guy. And he, like, chatted him up. And then, like, when the conversation ends, like, the Secret Service guy was like, keep an eye out with that motherfucker. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I was just like, damn, this dude is really stupid.
Yeah.
As far as, like, what he was doing in that moment. Like, just, like...
Hand in the jacket, running away from Secret Service. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go kill the pimp instead. Like, all right, man. That's how your brain works. And then he starts getting revered as a hero. Fucking an hour ago, he was about to fucking be the villain. You're about to see this dude's villain origin story, and it's just like like that, and then it really just matters what decisions you make in your life. That is like that can really change everything.
Yeah, it can.
It changes legitimately everything.
Like you flipping your fucking switch like that.
And then, you know, since we're at the end now, that murder scene is fucking brutal. Dude, holy shit. He blasts the first dude in the gut. Dude, he's just like, oh my god. He's just laying there. Harvey Keitel's bleeding out. And then he sees the doorman. Just starts blasting,
dude.
And then he goes into Iris'
Oh
room,
my god.
And, or no, he gets attacked, right? He gets attacked after
He
killing
does get
the
attacked,
guy.
yeah, because one of the guys doesn't, like, fully go down. If I remember correctly.
So he's killing the second guy, and the first guy comes back. Harvey Keitel's character comes back, pops him, and he's like, oh, fuck. And he kills Harvey Keitel in the door. The first guy he shot.
Yeah.
The first guy he shot, who came back to shoot him, he gets killed. The second guy then dies, or he's about to die, and he gets attacked by a third guy.
Yeah.
But he eventually kills the second guy. And then he wrestles the third guy into Iris's room. And,
dude, that shit was crazy, man.
Pops
that
him
whole
right
fucking
in the head
thing.
About while Iris is
remember
going,
the
no,
point? Remember the point where he
shoot him."
activates the fucking shit he had built, like in earlier, like the fucking slingshot gun. I was like, holy shit,
that was sick.
that was sick as fuck.
And then it played in because it was like that was the automatic one because there was only one
That shit
automatic
was
pistol
sick.
that he bought.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened to be the one that was in his switch.
Dude, that shit was crazy.
Wild.
And just like him, like killing everybody, like you said, diving in the room, and it's like, yo, she's like crying, and he's just sitting there, fucking like shoots that bullet that isn't there.
And he keeps
oh my god, it just keeps clicking.
And then the cops come in, and he's putting his finger, the gun to his head, and he's like trying to kill himself with his finger gun. Yeah, that was a chilling scene. I mean, you can't take your eyes off the screen when that scene is on. It's crazy.
That was a crazy scene for sure, man.
Did you like the music, like underneath, like the score, like the jazz music that's playing underneath all the time?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the music at the beginning too, like when he's like he was driving the taxi. That was really good too.
The guy who made the score for this movie, he made the music. This was the last score that he ever did before he died.
Oh damn! When did he die?
It's in 1977.
That's
I'll look it up, Bernard.
There's a scene I have at the end too where the transition from his eyes to the rear view and then to the end credits. It was like,
damn, he's only 64. Yeah, he died in 1975 on Christmas Eve.
wow,
That
sucks. I have it was on his eye, like towards the end of the movie. 64. And then I had the transition from his eyes to the rearview mirror and then to the end credits. Like it was just like his eyes. And the way it like went through was like so nice.
So I read an online theory about that last scene where he picks up Betsy, the girl helping out on Palatine's campaign, and there's a lot of people online who interpret that last scene as like a dream sequence by Travis. And when she gets out of the car, the reason he's angry is because it's not real.
Oh, that makes sense.
But when people interviewed Paul Schrader, the guy who wrote the movie, he was like, I don't think that. I think she actually got in the car and like that. So I mean, you know, up to interpretation. I honestly, genuinely like the idea that like she wasn't there, and like he's angry that she's the.
That's what
everyone sees him as a hero, but she is not one of those people. And that's what
it's just like it's so wild because like he really like and like on her side of it, like on his side, but he's like he really couldn't get over like rejection,
Yeah.
like that's where like all that stemmed from. Not all of it, but some of it. It's just, at least at the beginning, because like she was like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking with you, dude," and he calls her, show up at her job, like, dude, come on. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking like." He just like turned his whole fucking. It's like, come on, dude. That's some incel activity.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's incel behavior.
That is some incel activity, dude.
Just to get into the rest of the themes, because I don't want to get caught up on it. Isolation, obviously, violence, man versus self fear. I said this. Yeah, so I mean,
those are good.
It's all all just kind of
and like
together.
Yeah, I don't know, just like I'm trying to think. I was about to say that. I was thinking of another scene. Fuck.
It's fun. I mean, it's just this was a really good movie. I really liked it.
One last scene. There was one scene where he's also going through the transition of like getting more and more like out of his mind, basically. And like there was a scene where like this man's a taxi driver, and these two girls, did they get dropped off or they were just walking? But like where he was just like following these two girls in his taxi.
One was Iris.
Oh, one was. I feel like an idiot. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh, that is one thing I did not bring up that I wanted to talk about.
That scene?
So the scene where Iris gets in the car and she's like, "Take me anywhere."
Yeah.
She's like, "Drive. I don't like turn on the fare. I don't care. Drive. Just go." And
he doesn't move.
And Harvey Keitel's character comes up, pulls her out of the car, and says, "Hey, don't worry about it." Throws him 20 in his car.
And then he's like, "Come on, bitch."
Yeah. And he takes Iris. And
some of the dialogue in the movie is like really good. Like I'm not saying like emphasizing that point, but like that part. But like, just like how they can add like I feel like it's stupid to say, but like not normal, but like stuff you would expect to hear, I guess.
Like realistic dialogue.
Yeah, very realistic.
Yeah, this was a really good movie as far as dialogue.
Yeah, like, oh, I'll pay you to not see that shit, and he just like gives him money and drives off. It's like, damn, bro.
But I love the attention to detail where, he does not pick up the $20 bill until after he gets off his shift. He leaves it on the seat because he's so conflicted with himself over whether or not he should even take that money. He decides to take the money, and he does not spend it until he goes to the brothel where Iris works, and they ask him for money to go into the room.
Yeah.
He gives it back to him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want your dirty money.
That's
I'm
just
not
like
giving anyone else your dirty money. And it's made clear because it's all wrinkled and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a really good visual detail.
I agree.
To really seed in this fact of like, this dude has a lot of bottled up violence. Maybe it's for the right thing sometimes, but like he is not fully there and he's not on the right path.
That's like emphasis on what you said again of just like what you say, like man versus or like like it's like the whole. I love how they did that the entire movie. Like I really do.
The way of
like
choice.
It's like damn, like you're feeling like like I feel you, but I don't feel you, man. I can't do it.
It really
like,
establishes like
it does a good job for the whole time.
Yeah, it really helps establish the idea of like free will.
When I started that movie, bro, you said it was an hour and 54 minutes. It didn't feel that long.
No, it was very.
It did not feel that long.
Really liked it. Pace was good. Song, music was good. The movie visuals were great. Direction was good. Dialogue was really good. The story was well told, and it felt like it was, made sense. Like everything made sense the way it happened, and for like a character study where you're kind of really just looking into like a slice of this guy's life and really just judging his day-by-day activities.
I personally never know how I'm gonna feel like going into a movie like one that I've never seen. Two, that's like so old.
Yeah.
And it's just for like me being here, like it's pretty old, and like you never know. I personally never know what to go and like what to expect because I'm like, oh, this probably doesn't suck, but it's like I feel a certain way about it because it's older,
right?
And I shouldn't, but I do, like whatever.
Right.
And then I like and then like overall, I'm like, oh, that was really good, like you know what I mean.
I really enjoyed this movie. I would like to watch another one of his early movies. I was telling Daniel earlier I want to rewatch Raging Bull, but that won't be eligible for this podcast because I've already seen it. So, since we're only doing movies I've never seen and he's never seen, and now we're at the end of the show. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna rate the movie. And we're going to put it on our big list. And every week after we're done, we're going to see where these movies rank up against each other according to me and Daniel's brains and how we felt about the movies. So I'm just going to go ahead and get our ratings and I'll fill everything in later on. I'll be frank, I gave this movie a strong 9.5. I thought it was an extremely good movie. It was easily a movie where you tell someone, I understand why this movie is recommended so often.
For sure.
It's a movie where you can recommend it to somebody and you can guarantee that they would like it. So that's my rating.
You said 9.5. I said 8.5. If I rated it at the end, it's a very, very good movie overall. Like I very much enjoy it. Like you just said, I see why people have always said like it's one of the movies you should watch overall. So I very much enjoyed it. I really would like to see some like more of his like early stuff. Just Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're moving our roommates. Yeah, our roommates are just moving all our stuff out right now. For whatever reason.
We get upstairs, everything's gone.
It's just gone.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well.
When you
start all over.
When you disappear for 3 hours, all your furniture back. But excuse me, very good movie. It's weird to think about that this movie came out like a year after my mother was born.
Yeah, same.
Right?
Same for me. Yeah.
Like what in the hell?
Weird as fuck.
Very weird.
I mean, I was 5 when this movie came out.
And like I was about to say, like Robert De Niro in the movie was just like a grown ass man. It's like, damn, bro.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Bro, exactly.
You just feel
what the hell?
It's so weird to like hear that the guy who wrote the music for this movie was like, is like dead, like died like a year after the movie. I'm like,
what,
bro? He watched movies, like start. He watched the beginning of cinema. Like that's
literally
insanity to me.
Yeah, it is.
And he's just like his last movie was in 1970. Like, think about that. There's, like, movie stars who are, like, old in movies in the 1940s.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Like, that's just weird to think about. Like, this dude was born in, like, 1873. Did he really think he was going to be on camera? Like...
Yeah, did he think that was something he'd be, like, doing, like, and made a name for, like, him or herself?
Or, I mean, imagine being someone who was born in the 60s and, like, someone telling you now, like, yeah, we're going to make a TV show, but we're going to put it on the internet.
Yeah, right.
And like you grew up through not grew up, but you aged through the 90s and you watched the internet like start and like you saw the beginning of web pages.
It's so
and, like,
weird to think
how horrible, like not horrible, but like how beta, I guess, the internet in a beta stage.
That's a good one.
How like downgraded it was. How bad it used to be, or how much worse it used to be. Not worse, but I guess compared to what we have now.
Compared to what we have now, worse for sure.
But
not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna combine our rating. So me and Daniel's combined rating for that movie was 18. Obviously, it's in the #1 spot because this is the first podcast. Maybe it will get dethroned, and that will be a fun time to see that happen. Maybe it'll be next week. Maybe it'll be fucking a month from now. We don't know. We have to watch the movie first. But next week will be Daniel's pick. Since he deferred this week, we'll figure that out. I'm gonna give him, till tomorrow or whatever.
Tomorrow.
I figure this out in like 20 minutes. There's plenty of movies you've never seen that you can just pick from. Just
20
pick
minutes?
a movie though. You can pick
Okay,
any movie.
okay. You're right. It is. I am thinking about it too much. It's like literally any movie.
And I guarantee throughout this process, there's gonna be a movie that I pick that you will uncategorically you just won't like. And
Same for me.
And I'll love the movie, and you won't like it. And I imagine there's gonna be a movie that you pick that you like, and I just do not care for.
Very true.
And that's the whole point of the list. It's fun to see, like, if we have a good rating on the same one, it'll be real high. And then, you know, maybe a movie that should be higher and, like, the audience's perspective is lower because I didn't like it. And it'll be like...
Right.
It'll be a talking point because I'm an asshole.
I like that.
Or it'll be a talking point because you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Or we're wrong or whatever.
Yeah, you're both fucking wild.
Yeah.
I will say, I do, and I am ready and, like, really, like, excited for, like, that aspect of it all. Just, like, like, everything you were just saying, emphasizing. Yeah, the potential is, like, I'm gonna be honest, Hunter, this week I fucking hated this movie you picked. Just, like, what, dude? Or, like, I loved it. Like, it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Because we don't know. So I really like that idea, and, like, the fact that we chose to, like, do this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just for rapper, I mean, we really did not talk about this movie before this. So.
We didn't.
Because, well, he did wait till the last possible.
I told you I would.
No, you would.
I told him I would, and I did, and I watched it.
But he didn't get it done, so...
I got it done, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. So,
thank you.
Cool.
I just want to make sure you're...
Cool. Well, I think that's a wrap on this one.